Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to the Finding Speed GT3 League live on Apex Racing TV and the Finding Speed YouTube channel as well. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me is Adam Thompson. Sam Kumo is bringing you the images from Sebring, our host for this round 2 of the championship. Adam, really good to have you alongside me tonight. We've got a lot of GT3 cars around here, around a circuit that these guys will know very well, with the 12 hours occurring around this time of year. So yeah, we should be in for some high quality racing.
Yeah, Sam, thanks for having me along. But yeah, I was just talking before we went live here. It's been a whirlwind for Sebring this weekend, with the special event going on here in iRacing and the 12 hours going on in real life. And we've got Finding Speed doing one today and then a 2.5 tomorrow as well. So I would assume that most of these drivers are pretty in tune to how to get around this track. And it's going to be an interesting track for sure. Like I mentioned, it's tough to do it correctly. You know, it's pretty wide, pretty flat, but man, it's hard to get right lap after lap. If you let your concentration lapse for any amount of time, it could end in disaster, believe it or not, even with how wide this track is.
For sure, and you got a lot of grass as well around this circuit. Dip a wheel onto that and you could be in big trouble. This is only round 2 of the championship so far, but going into this round, it is Billy Fletcher who is at the top of the championship. He was able to take the race win last time out. There he is ahead of Mark Fletcher. They are not related. Can't emphasize this enough. They are not related. They're in the same team. They're not related. Fletcher in second place. However, both of them aren't around tonight unless they make a very late appearance in qualifying. We are not going to see them out on track, so that will mean that Hakon Grebstad will be sort of the de facto championship leader. And yeah, Dadswell, Marion, Van Nyland, lots of quality drivers. Callum Reed-Garton really should have won 2 weeks ago, but made a mistake, and after being about 10 seconds out in the lead, and had a couple more issues after that. So that is why he's quite so far down in the order. And also we've got the amateur standings as well. And in those amateur standings, Scott Angelo currently at the top ahead of Volkner, Bluso and Gooch. But yeah, of course, very competitive in that amateur standings as well. Which will probably be just as topsy-turvy as the pro standings. So, yeah, of course, you probably didn't get to see the couple of weeks ago race, the round 1 of the season, Adam, but it can't be understated how quick Callum Reed-Gartson was, despite the fact that he did finish quite low down. I think he is the man to beat come this round of the championship.
No, I wasn't able to, and it sounds like going through those standings that there was a bit of argy-bargy, as you guys would say over there, but I'm super looking forward to see if he can get a win here. Kind of looking at the practice times, and, seems to be like he may be the one to beat here. We're now in qualifying. We got a minute here, about gone by in qualifying. So, actually watching Callum Reed get around the track right now. See what he can do.
Yeah, you can see it's getting quite dark as well. This is going to be one of the night races. I think the official series, the VRS official series, is in the dark for this week. I think Imola was in the dark as well, actually, but we decided to use the day-night conditions because, unfortunately, the series organisers have brains and also are quite sympathetic on us. We do like to be able to see the cars, but we are going to be plunging into the darkness, as the drivers will be in 1 week time when the iRacing special event comes around. Callum Reed-Gartson just completing this outlap before he sets off on that fast lap. Not as many Altitude Esports drivers once again. The Fletcher individuals not here tonight. So Gartson very much taking the mantle as he sets off on this about 4 kilometre long course.
Yeah, as he goes here through turn 1, I just wanted to mention here, as easy as those corners look, turn 17, Sunset Bend, and turn 1, they're not. You know, you've got a couple lanes, few lanes actually, that you can take through those corners because they're so wide. And if you think one lane is fast, been practicing it there, trust me, I know, you will get passed by somebody who takes a different lane through there that you did not think was fast. So I'm looking forward to those 2 corners. Definitely going to be some good overtaking opportunities, I think, there. But, you know, Sam, I wanted to mention real quick, what is it with you and me that we have to broadcast night races every time we're together? It's weird. But I'm super excited anyways to watch these guys. This is Patrick Gannon right now. Looks like he is he on an outlap or is he on flyer right now? He's flying right now. So yeah, this is man, I don't really know. I don't know much about these guys. Know much about the you know, where everybody's stacking up, but just super excited.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I've tried to get it into Apex Racing TV's minds that I will refuse to do night races. I'll absolutely strike if I have to do any more, but keep on raping me back to do them. This place not so bad. You can see the lights on the track, sort of navigating your way around, are super useful when you are driving around. But as you were saying earlier on, to drive fast around here is tricky enough. To drive around fast around here at night is even more tough. We'll see what the first times are from the drivers. They get 3 laps, by the way, and they may want to bail on their second lap to get a new fresh set of tyres, but I'm expecting everyone just to stay out there and just continue to pummel in those 3 laps, fuel up for those 3 laps. Gartson to the top, but Gannon goes a little bit faster. That's excellent work there from the RPM Racing driver. And Grebstad also going up there, so Gartson with a bit to improve there. Sort of my pick for pole position. I think he was up on the front row last time out at Imola, and currently Odom's top of the silver drivers, but still many more times to be put in.
It's impressive. I was watching Gannon's lap until he got Hartung, but set a bunch of purple sectors. It looked like sector 1, 3, 4, and 5. So pretty impressive there by Gannon for his first lap, and he's still got 2 more to go. So see what he can do and get that thing back up on the pole. But Hartung right now about 1/10 of a second off in the pro class, and Odom's in that open or the AM class is definitely the best as of right now by quite a long while here.
That is a very good lap so far, and as far as I'm aware in these GT3 cars, you're not necessarily going to improve come your second lap. Because my catchphrase in the Radical series is this: your first lap is always your slowest lap. Not sure that's necessarily going to be the case here in the GT3, so it will have to take some effort from the drivers. Increase of pace in the second lap is not inevitable. By the way, shouts out, of course, to Finding Speed, the organisers for this series. Finding Speed, iRacing and YouTube content creator, providing broadcasted special events, leagues, track guides, and also how-to videos for iRacing enthusiasts. And if you head over to findingspeed.com/race, you can learn about the next broadcaster's special event, the Green Hell, which is an epic 2-hour solo sprint race designed to help drivers and teams prepare for the iRacing Nürburgring 24 hours taking place later in the year. So do check out findingspeed.com/race. And of course, if you're watching on Apex Racing TV, do check out the Finding Speed YouTube channel. You can get those track guides and yeah, maybe find some speed yourself.
I see what you did there, Sam. But yeah, still looking here, watching Odoms get around. Still, man, he's like you said, like you did mention it. You were correct. He's about 5/10 of a second off of his first lap, best lap time. So pretty interesting to see how much speed that these guys have lost there for their second lap. What would do that, Sam? Is it, you would think as the cars get lighter, tires warm up a little more, they get quicker?
Yeah, I'm not sure, and this is when my lack of GT3 running yeah, lets me down. In my defense, I don't have room for a rig, hence why I haven't driven these cars so much recently. But you know, sometimes on iRacing, you know, depending on what the tyre model is, it's those sorts of lower pressures, those lower temperatures, which can really get a lot of time out of the tyres. And then other times, certainly with the older tyre models, it used to be that you needed a few miles of running in order to really get the most out of the tyres. This certainly seems to be the former. And so, yeah, not too much movement at the moment. And a lot of drivers returning to the pits, even though they do have an extra lap time available for themselves. Remember, they get 3 lap times. But this is such a long lap that I'm not even sure if you've got time to set 1 lap, then go back to the pits, get a new set of tyres, and then use your second lap. I think you kind of got to do them all in one go, or just have your 1 attempt. Ocasio is trying to continue, though, out on track. Currently P2 out of the amateur drivers, but still believing that there could be a little bit more improvement possible.
5/100ths of a second, I believe, is what that gap is between Ocasio and wherever he went, and Odoms. But real quick here, I've got Mark Fletcher here. The non-Fletcher brothers said he's out because of a birthday meal this week. So happy birthday, Mark, if it is your birthday. But shame to see you not racing. Hopefully we see you back here.
And I don't know, Billy Fletcher. Where's he? Is he at this birthday? Remember, they're not related. I'm sure people are saying, oh, maybe they're twins. No, they're not. They're not twins. It's not both of their birthdays, unless, I mean, that would just increase the confusion tenfold, wouldn't it? They just happen to have the same birthday.
It's either that or they're lying to us. One of the two.
Of course, those two, the Fletchers, top 2 in the championship at the moment, but after the round 1, but unfortunately not around tonight. And yeah, we're just being told that Callum Gartson just to point out that I am not off the pace. I don't have any pedals, and I'm using the dual clutch as my brake and throttle on my wheel. So that is why Callum Gartson isn't doing so well, but he's still doing remarkably well. He's basically on hand controls, and I assume he doesn't usually practice with hand controls. But he's still up there in 8th position overall, so we'll see if that one works out for Callum. So very much struggling tonight. So Altitude Esports depleted, and the few drivers that are remaining are significantly disadvantaged.
Callum, I just want to say something to you. Shout out to you, my man, for doing that, because I broke my ankle stepping in a gopher hole in January, and I had some of my friends tell me that I should try to use hand controls. I tried it once, and I lost a whole class in safety rating and I decided just to wait until my foot heals up. So congratulations, Callum, for being able to do something that I was not able to do. That just tells you why you're out there and not me, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine it. I just can't imagine having the feel, you know? It's like playing with a controller. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like very binary.
No, that is
on and off, but-
impressive here. But looks like we got the results here, Sam, for qualifying. Hartung up there set a blazing lap there. First guy we watched go around the track with a 158.412 with Gannon there in second. Grebstad in third and Dadswell fourth. David Flanagan, American up there in fifth place with... you want to help me out with that one, Sam?
Adriansons.
There we go. In sixth place, my American accent slipped out a little there, guys. Sorry. Odom's there in seventh. The first place in the amateur, the silver class. Callum Garton, eighth place while using hand controls. Ludovic Zayakin there in ninth with Maury in 10th. Ocasio, second place in 11th. And Nijlin in 12th. We got Pudicombe in 13th with Gray 14th, Volkner 15th, Gooch 16th, Puccetti 17th, Soto 18th. 19th is going to be Brat Crouch, 20th Kosh Kelly, 21st is Bray, 22nd is Knudsen, 23rd is Lynch, and rounding out the field for tonight is Glenn Hopkins. Not rounding out the field, there's still more. Carlson is in 25th with Bluso 26th, Coco 27th, 28th is Oliver Marin, 29th is Mads Sedger, 30th is Igor Bimbik, 31st Lavagna, 32nd is Mystic, 33rd Peck, 34th Reagan, 35th is going to be Okaranza, 36th is Russell Barnes, 37th is going to be Ollie Morgan, 38th is Juan Coleja, and 39th is Dennis Carter. That is a whole lot of cars on the field tonight, Sam.
Yeah, well done going through the grid because you know I was waiting in the wings to do it if needs be, but you went for it and you got better as it went through. So congratulations on that one. I was about to say that Adjinson's actually, I thought his brother raced in this, so I was really looking forward to having to attempt that one second time. As we're just being told that the safety car has no lights. We can barely see it, but the driver's still doing well at getting around.
Well, before we get started here, I would like to mention Apex broadcasted a race for Cross Series League Racing a couple weeks ago, and we did the 79 Lotuses, and the admin, aka me, set it up super late at night for sunset because I don't know what I was doing, and it went dark. And let me tell you what, without headlights, when iRacing goes dark, it goes real dark. So I'm surprised that safety car can see where he's going right now.
I saw that one, and it's very rare that I see broadcasts. But I did find that extremely entertaining. What was the results in the end? I mean, what lap did they take the results from?
So it was a 21 lap race, and lap 18 is when the sun decided to burn out. So they took them from lap 18, but we had three drivers still cross the line in complete pitch blackness. What's going on back here? But yeah, complete pitch black. Everyone else got DSQ'd from the race due to off tracks, but no, it was definitely an interesting one to watch for sure, and Tim Cox did a great job of trying to hold it together.
This is the concertina, and one driver's going to probably get on the brakes, and another one's going, well, probably not anyone's major fault, but it's just what happens when, oh no, that was sort of one driver's fault, wasn't it? That was sort of just really grinding to a halt and causing mayhem behind, so that's a lot of damage. The drivers do get one faster repair, but they only want to make one pit stop, and the earliest you can make a pit stop, I believe, is about 20 minutes into the race. There's a bit more leniency now with the fuel, up to 70% fuel allowance, but you still don't want to take that extra pit stop, particularly around here. It's a very long pit lane, and so those drivers are going to have to struggle with that damage. Should just be area damage for the first 20 minutes of this race, and well, hopefully we don't see any more confusion like that again, as Gannon slowly brings us to Sunset Bend and the start of the race.
Yeah, Sunset Bend is no longer Sunset Bend. It's Moon Bend at this point. Man, that is an awesome shot. Look at the amount of cars in this field. It's great to see that many cars, GT3 cars here at Sebring. So congratulations to the organizers of Finding Speed for getting this many drivers involved. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely, as the pace car pulls into the pits, and Hartung has control of the field, and we are racing to start this hour-long event here at Sebring. Hartung leads the way. Gannon staying ahead of Grevstad, but Grevstad looking dangerous. He'll have to be cautious about dropping down to P4 as well. He takes a much tighter entry into turn 1, and he does make that move on Gannon. He just had to get out of the Thotzel mid-corner there. Nothing turning out well for Daswell. They're just staying in that 4th position. Bit of side-by-side, I think Flanagan and Maury battling right there. We've also got Odoms in the top of the silver category. He's lost 1 place overall, but not bad start for him, as we've got issues here. That's Hopkins. Barnes, who started right at the back, has got involved in that one as well, maybe just taking evasive action. And yeah, Hopkins and Marin, I think the 2 big losers in all of that. We head down to the hairpin, and everyone gets it. Still, we've got a bit of too wide. Expect some contact on the exit as the track really starts to narrow up. And there is a bit of contact there, and that's going to be cut hard into the wall. They'll do well to get that back into the pit. And we've got a couple more as well. That's an unrelated incident. Soto and others as well, all piling in. Lynch and Bembic, I think, as well. A lot of drivers going to need repairs after that.
We've got a, I'm sure we're going to get to see a replay of whatever went down there, but we got a shout out for Gucci Man from Nathan here in the YouTube chat. So right now it looks like Gooch is there in 3rd in his class, so doing a great job at the moment and able to keep it pretty clean after everything that's gone down behind him.
Yeah, he was just ahead of all of that, I think. I think it started to kick off just behind. Here comes, here is Zykin. Oh, yeah, maybe like it was a bit of netcode initially, and then there was a second. Oh no, sorry, I thought it was a separate incident, but no, Zykin just spun, got onto the grass and spun back onto track, and then it's 1 car, slows up, others get involved, and well, I did say there was going to be contact, but I didn't think there'd be that much contact.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, I know iRacing is doing everything they can to try to eliminate some of those netcode issues, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's still going to be online racing. And, you know, it's just iRacing trying to predict where that car is going to be, and sometimes it just doesn't get it right. Unfortunate for the drivers that were involved in that, but, you know, it's a long race.
Yeah, there was that announcement, wasn't there, that they've reduced netcode in the last build. And I do think I've seen that about 10 times in various iRacing notes over the years. But they always seem to be improving it, but obviously, as you say, there's always going to be weaknesses. I think that was netcode at least. It did seem like there was a bit of a gap, and the way they reacted was a bit unrealistic. Here is Gartson. Has he lost that position back again to Odin? So Gartson still not totally comfortable. I think he's actually the one on the attack here, sorry. But
yeah, I think
oh, he's onto the grass as well. Going to have to go the longer route. Not much of a braking zone here into the right-hander. Garton stays behind. Just needs to try to get some points. He knows that he's probably not going to be able to keep up with Hartung and Grevstad, but of course better than not finishing at all. And after his poor race at Imola, he just needs a top 10 to keep himself in play and then really show his pace in the later round.
Yeah, if I'm Robert Odoms right now, I am in a very good position. I'm super happy. There is a pro driver in between me and my 2nd place rival of Ocasio. So Odoms is probably going to be doing everything he can to keep Garton back behind him and try to maybe form a gap or try to use the slipstream of the car ahead of him, which is playing against.
Ooh, slow down. Slow down for Hartung. He's taken too much curb around the Le Mans section. I didn't see that, of course, happen, but you can be fairly certain about it. I think Gartson may have made the same mistake there. So Sam, Hartung loses the lead, and Grevstad, Gadden, and Dadswell is now your new top 3.
I was talking about that as well. I mean, you just lose a little bit of focus, maybe. I'm telling you, that Le Mans corner is extremely tough to get right because you don't expect it to turn as hard as it does, and then you find yourself cutting across the track onto the back straight of the Ullman Straight. So it's unfortunate, but slow down won't hurt him that bad. Back into 4th and gain that back. I mean, geez, we're 5 minutes into an hour, so they still have 55 minutes. And a pit stop as well, and anything could happen.
Definitely, yeah. Certainly think Hartung has got the pace to catch back up, and you know, sometimes it's a negative to be out in front in these GT3 cars. The draft effect isn't super strong, but it's certainly significant. And actually being second or third in a pack, if you're all evenly matched, can be the place to be, save a bit of fuel, and will help you later on. We'll have to take less fuel at your pit stop. So might not be the worst thing in the world to drop back, as we see Bembic, who I think was involved in the incident earlier on. He is just being overtaken by Morgan. Maybe he managed to get through it all. I'm struggling to see if there's much damage, honestly.
Yeah, it looks like maybe there's a little bit on the front end. Looks like the hood's kind of separated from the front bumper cover just a little bit, but still out there driving along. You know that's probably going to affect his aero, especially around a track like this where it is pretty high speed for a lot of it. It's probably not going to be helping him that much, especially if you're trying to make an overtake and getting out of that slipstream.
Oh, Maury now. Oh, he's into the wall. I thought it was just going to be another slowdown, but that's more significant there for Dan Maury. He has to take back to the pits as well. I doubt that was a particularly big hit there for Maury. It seemed like he sort of just nudged the tyres there, and even if he did hit it hard, it would have just been with the nose. I don't think it would have been with the corner. And yet, feeling the need to go back to the pits there.
You know who's feeling the need.
Grebstad's still just about holding on in the lead.
Yeah, you've got Dadswell wanting to get around Gannon. Well, yeah, no, yeah, there is this close here. It's going to be interesting to see if, man, you've got to hold on here for quite a while. Through this part of the track is not somewhere it's going to be easy to make an overtake. So, yeah, this is Gannon on Grebstad. I apologize, and they are doing pretty well right now, keeping it clean. You're an hour into you've got an hour-long race. I don't think they want to be doing anything too important here. And this is what I was thinking while we were watching was Dadswell. Looks like he's going to make the move. He gets it done. A Hartung on Dadswell. Yeah, so good move through there. I wasn't expecting an overtake there in that part of the track, but he got it done.
I think, that was impressive stuff. Just so deep on the brakes. And we'll see if he can sort of catch up to the guys ahead. Dadswell, yeah, flashing the lights out. I initially thought that they hadn't changed position, and he was kind of saying, let me go ahead. But Dadswell, who I believe is the defending champion, indicated by that car number 1, drops down to 4th place. And now he's got Adjinsons just behind. Glitching out as well there was Dadswell, so his connection not excellent. And now Odins, you were saying earlier on, had that pro driver of Gartzen in between him and his nearest silver rated driver. Well, there's no car in between them anymore. Ocasio right there, and Gooch also close behind, making the top 3 in the silver category, all within a second and a half of one another.
I just want you to understand that we just watched Garten fall down a few positions. Looks like he may have had an off track, but again, he's driving without pedals. So, but this is not what Odoms wants to see. Now he does have Ocasio right there on his bumper, and I think Ocasio may be feeling an overtake here pretty soon.
He seems to be catching. Look at that, half a second faster that last time round. That is a big chunk. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a mistake from Odins, because of course in qualifying he had the pace over his rival, and so far in this race, whenever I've looked at the lap times, Odins has seemingly been at least a match, but that last time round, the momentum shifting. And yeah, Gartzen, maybe losing a couple of places, going wide once again round the Le Mans section, where he picked up a slowdown earlier on as Pudicom. We got to see into the haunting eyes of Pudicom there, and he has lost it. Is there just going to be a stationary car in front of him? No, it's not stationary, but it's just going very slowly with damage and hard into the wall. That was the 113, I believe, of, what's that, Carter? I think it may have been.
Yep, that was Dennis Carter in the 113, and he has found himself going back to the pit lane here, and we've got Grebstad and Gannon here, still about 0.3 of a second I think, I just think Gannon may just be kind of running along behind him. They're in pretty good position right now. Gannon's about 0.7 of a second off of, or in front of Hartung. So, but again, we know how quick Hartung was in qualifying, and I do not think. Now we got an overtake here. I think Gannon said it's time to go.
Yeah, your
Great.
comment about waiting behind didn't age well.
No,
Because
he
he's
was
ahead
listening
now.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, they always do. Okajio also moving ahead of Odins, but here comes Grevstad trying to retake the lead. Then this is where, of course, he overtook him on lap 1. And in very similar style to this as well, taking that short acute line. That's almost exactly the same as what happened earlier on. So Grevstad back ahead then of Ganon. But seemingly, they do want to be ahead despite the fact, of course, if you are ahead, you will be using more fuel. This is going 3 wide now. Morgan and Carlson and Blue so involved in this. Can they all get through it? They cannot get through it. Both 2 of them are off hard into the wall there for Christopher Carlson. And seemingly going quite slowly there was Morgan as well.
That turn 1 is deceivingly difficult to get through. It's just, it looks so wide, but it just thins out pretty quickly on exit. And I just think you go 3 wide into it, and then people are on the brakes. We got another spin here. That's Ocasio. Yeah, Gooch and Ocasio got together there. We're going to get to watch the replay. See what happened here. Following on here with Gooch.
So this is the battle for P2 and 3 in the silver category.
Oh, no.
Well, it seemed as though Ocasio was going really slowly there. Like,
yeah,
he was barely turning into the corner.
Yeah, because they were not that close going down the straightaway. And for Gooch to be able to gain that much time on Ocasio in one corner, I wonder if maybe Gooch or Ocasio may have had just a little bit of a mistake. But nonetheless, still driving around. Didn't seem to give them too much damage. That's Carl Gray spinning around. Is that through Lamont?
Yeah, he's gone into a piece of surface which is very rarely used. Oh, the sweet join. Got away with it. That was good awareness there from Bree. And, well, they're falling like flies, are the Ams. It means that Odoms is long way ahead, and Ocasio moves back to P2.
Remember I mentioned Odoms did have Ocasio back there. Once that pro car got out of the way, I think Odoms may have been in for a bit of a challenge. But now he's sitting pretty. I think he's just looked in his mirror and saw everything that went down. Doing okay. This is Lusso here in 6th place in the AM class.
And that's a lapped car between them, not even with a position number. Is that just a thing in the BMW where they don't have the position on the corner? That must be a thing.
That's what threw me off. That's Dennis Carter that we saw get into a bit of an incident a little earlier, had to get back to the pits, and now he is in a very rough spot. He has got a bunch of very, very angry drivers trying to get up through the field here. Everybody's getting kind of mixed up. So the rest of this race, I think, is going to be pretty interesting here with Labbers.
As Garton and Van Nylen are having a tasty battle. Garton dropped behind earlier on because of a slowdown. He's trying to regain that position now. Van Nylen up 4 places from his starts. In fact, on that last lap, the Garton was 2/10 faster. Once again, he is running.
Yes, I was going to say, I cannot stress the fact that he's not running with pedals.
And the fact that he's doing what he's doing, sitting here in 8th place in the pro class is just unbelievable.
Yeah, maybe he should. Yeah, I mean, just take a week out, Callum, from road racing. Just go to the ovals and do that. I mean, a series must be visiting the super speedways next week, surely. Just do that instead, and then it's not a disadvantage. Just have the dots all permanently on. I mean, it's not a disadvantage, but he's doing very well.
Yeah, this is impressive, and he's not just driving around either, Sam. Again, he is trying to catch Van Nylen here, and he used to be doing pretty well at it, taking some really clean lines, and That's just yeah, it's impressive. And there's a spinner. That's Phil Reagan in the 11th place. Ooh, Igor Bimbic in the number 129 may have been involved in that as well.
It's all the off tracks here as Bembic with quite a bit of damage there. Will he get to the end? Ooh, he'll be close.
Be very close.
But not. He'll probably have to save fuel. I'm surprised even with a meatball, I think it's best just to continue there, even if you are 5-6 laps slower, as Gartson is still behind Van Nylen. He can't get past, but this is the part of the track where he consistently gets very close. But it's not a braking area. It's the right-hander, and so you can't overtake.
Oof. That is super tight through there. Good job on Garton to back out of that one. I saw an incident coming, but great awareness by Garton. Lived to fight another day, and you know, you've got the whole backside of the track here again. I mentioned the Almond Straight into turn 17, Sunset Dam. That's going to be a overtaking opportunity, but it looks like Garton's just lost quite a bit of time having to back out.
Yeah, he seems to kind of drop off around this part and then gets closer in the first sector. I think that's where he's strong, as they don't quite nail the exit of Le Mans, but certainly Gartson was able to gain a 10th or 2 right there as they are about to head on to their 8th lap of the race. By the way, sorry, what were you going to say?
I'm about to show my ignorance here and probably say something that I shouldn't, but I would assume there isn't that much dirty air in a GT3 car compared to the car behind or in front. But there's probably some that Garton's probably fighting right now, being as close as he is to Van Nylen.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's not much compared to the single seaters. I mean, compared to the F3, it can be quite significant. For the Radical, it can be quite significant. This is certainly a car where it's faster to be behind another driver. You know, you're not gonna. It's like a magnet. It's gonna like attract you rather than repel you. So as he gets close again, every time he always gets close. But Van Nylen positioning his car well. He's gone a bit deep this time. Can they manage to get through around this part of the track without making contact? They do. So in the end, Van Nylen with the good positioning, but just pushed it too hard on the brakes, probably about 10 meters too late on the brakes, and Gartson eventually does get past. We'll have a better idea of what his true pace is now that he's in free air.
Yeah, and this fighting has allowed Kelly and Musetti to join this battle. So this has just gone from a 2-car to a 4-car battle. And this is for 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th in the Pro Series, or the Pro class. So starting to, want to start making some moves. And looks like Grebstad got to slow down through Le Mans. It's going to hurt pretty bad. He loses out to Hartung, and just like that, Hartung back up here into 2nd place, and Gannon about 0.7 of a second. But I would assume that may be dropping a little bit, considering how quick Hartung was in quali.
Yeah, Hartung seemed to close in as well. When he initially had that slowdown, he seemed to catch back up the gap quite quick. It's kind of just been staying around the same region again. We'll see if he does close up this time. So Gannon into the lead, Hartung in 2nd. Gannon now our 3rd leader so far in this race. And Dadswell still keeping in touch. Even Jensen Adjusson as well is not putting the same pressure anymore on Dadswell. Also somewhere around there. And Odom's having a very dull race. He's not really near anyone. He's not too far behind Flanagan, but he's got a good margin over Gartson.
I would love to be bored right now. 1st place in class. I would love to have a very boring race from here on out. I don't want anything going on in front of me. I don't want anybody catching me. Let me drive around the track and take my 1st place and go home.
I mean, I think maybe I like the competition, but I'd want an exciting race. It's really easy for me to say that as a commentator, because obviously we want everything to happen. I mean, we want disputes, we want a soap opera out on track. I mean, that's what, if we can turn this into Coronation Street, I mean, that would be the ideal scenario. And unfortunately, Odin's right now is having quite a dull race. So obviously it's easy for me to say, oh, I would want it to be competitive. But I don't know. I can't remember ever being out in the lead comfortably, shall we say. I've never
Exactly.
been in Odin's situation. I've always been in the mix in 10th place having a bad spot. And I think I'd
Ooh.
rather that, as Gooch is up to 3rd place. That is, apologies, just a back marker then, but it was still quite a pain to get through.
That Ferrari, I mean, that thing looks like it just went through an earthquake. And for him to be up here in the 3rd place and doing as well as he is, that's pretty impressive, to be honest. I don't know how he's still driving that thing around the track as well as he is. As I say that, this is Russell Barnes here in 11th place, getting through in the pro class. That was 4 position, but not 4 position in class, so I think that was just an easy one. Gooch was just trying to let him go. And again, this is like another pretty comfortable position for Gooch at the moment, about 2nd-ish, 1.5 seconds ahead of Coco. And man, with a Ferrari, with a car as damaged as that, you would be expecting Coco to starting to make some inroads, but he's actually losing time. Hand over fist here on Gooch.
Potentially, Gooch could come into the pits on this lap and get to the end of the race. I believe now that they've got 70% fuel available, and maybe that's what we're seeing with a couple of these guys as well. They're now into the pit window. Knudsen did have a problem a few laps ago. We didn't show it on the replay. It was quite low down, and I don't think it was that significant. So we didn't show it, but he did have a problem. So a couple of drivers with damage coming into the pits early as Bree gets past Coco now. Did Coco just make a mistake? I thought he was onto the back of Gooch, or was it always Bree close to him? He was certainly close to someone, was Coco.
Yeah, I think it was Bree and Coco because, you know, at the moment, Gooch is now, about 3 seconds ahead. And last time I looked, he was about 1.5. So I think there may have been a bit of a mistake there that Coco had. I don't see anything here in our SDK overlay. So maybe just a bit of a slow moment. We can see this battle for 14th in class at the moment. Now for 4th in class, this is Brett Crouch. And yeah, Carl Gray is there. And I don't believe that these guys have stopped yet. I could be wrong, but pit stops are going to be coming pretty quick. And this is just going to be another opportunity for, you know, drivers to start making some moves. And I know some of these drivers that have been out there, I mean, looking at the 105 right now, he's ready to get in there and get that pit stop done and fix that car, maybe find a little more speed.
Yeah, it would certainly be a potential solution as Morgan decides to come into the pits. And that car looks like one of the cleaner cars, I must say. But
Yeah.
Still feeling the need to come in. Of course, might well be in traffic, so trying to do that. Albeit, of course, if you come into the pits, you do run the risk of coming out into even more traffic. But the field does tend to get a bit more sporadic as you move down the order. There's the leader, 8/10 of a second still over Hardtongue. Hardtongue getting a bit of a tow from there. That might be the best of both worlds, getting a bit of a tow, but not any of the turbulence. But he certainly, I think if he could be closer, I think he would be closer, Hardtongue. So I think this is genuine pace we're seeing right here. And Grebstad thoughts of maintaining it as well. That top 4 really evenly matched with Jens Nadjenson's dropping back slightly.
Yeah, Gannon's doing a great job here protecting this league. It's, you know, if you would have asked me before the race...
slow down. Or Grebstad again.
Oof, that's not going to help much, and he has lost another position there, it looks like, to Dad's well. So, yeah, Grebstad down to 4th. Just, man, that Le Mans corner is... I'm going to keep saying it. It's deceivingly tough, to be honest.
Yeah, and in these cars as well, can take a lot of curve. Maybe wouldn't be so much of a problem in single seaters, but in these cars they can easily go over the curves. If anything, you can sort of hook the car over the curb as well. It can actually assist with the steering as though you're kind of on a skateboard, I guess, over a rail, and can kind of hook you on and help you around the corner. And so you want to push it, but a couple of times today, Krebstad has been pushing it too hard round there. And look at that, he's only just ahead of Jensen Adjenson's. Apologies, Jensen Adjenson's another 4 seconds back. Crouch into the pits as well. You were anticipating that pit stop, and it has delivered. So Crouch into the pits, and he'll be happy to take that faster path.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just pretty impressed with how much damage some of these drivers have on their cars, and they're still driving around and still competitive. I think that's a shout out to not only the driving ability of these guys that have all this damage, but also the resilience of these GT3 cars. It just take a licking and keep on ticking. That's an American term, by the way. I don't know if you understood that.
I've never heard of that. What was it again?
They take a licking and they just keep on ticking. It's like they can take quite a beating and still out there rolling around the track and still competitive. Still, man, I love the fact that this league is called Finding Speed, because I've been saying Finding Speed a lot without trying to. So I promise you there is no pun intended on any of that.
Be entering into your subconscious there and very much making an appearance in your vocabulary. Hopkins, 8 tenths of a second behind Okaranza, who was doing much better. No, he wasn't doing much better earlier on. Apologies, Okaranza. I'm getting Okaranza and Ocasio, of course, mixed up. Ocasio still up there in P2. But Okaranza, in fact, up 9 places from his race start. That is for overall. No, it's not for overall. That is for in-class positions.
Yeah.
So that is really impressive there, because he's also got past some gold drivers as well as Okaranza. So really good work. But he is being caught as the Chilean by Hopkins and Volkner right now. Volkner P2, I think, in the amateur category last time. I think he may have even won the amateur category, actually. So he's had a miserable time of it so far. He'll be looking to gain both of these places soon.
Well, I know the beginning of the race was a bit of a cluster with all of the accidents that happened there within the first couple laps, and I don't know if Volkner, I mean, he's lost 8 positions, so I would assume that he was probably involved in that. I don't know who all was, as there were quite a few involved, as Volkner has decided to take his pit stop now. Again, like you mentioned, maybe get out of some of that traffic, but from what I'm seeing here, Sam, it looks like being in the traffic is actually a good thing. Again, like you said, the slipstream is pretty powerful, and you can gain quite a few tenths.
Yeah. Certainly if you've got someone who's maybe a tenth of a second faster than you, or evenly matched with you, then yeah, you can certainly save some time by saving some fuel behind them and having a shorter pit stop. Not too many big battles going on at the moment. We've kind of got a few pairs. The only kind of trio I see out there is Van Nylen, Helly and Puccetti. But even there, they've got some gaps. You can see them in 8th, 9th and 10th. This is Flanagan versus Odoms. Odoms, the silver driver, catching up to Flanagan at the moment. Now, I believe the judge score points for their overall position, as we've got Bree with an issue. Oh, look,
Whoa.
There's someone's off the track. That's a back marker off the track, but Bree was also off the track himself. I wonder if those two incidents were linked to one another.
I think our eye in the sky is about to let us know that. Looks like Bree was close to the 711 of, who is that car? But oop, that wasn't even. Oh, wow. Everybody just close racing. I think Bree was just trying to get out of the way there the best he could.
Yeah, Gooch, I think, was the one who managed to get past. Yeah, lost best part of 3 seconds on that last lap. Okaranza going, is that slow or just far away? Slow down? It was a slow down, but also looks very slow, but just because of the way that the perception of vision occurs. Okaranza now behind Hopkins, who moves into the top 10 in the silver category. It's a little bit confusing for if you're just tuning in for those stones. But just a reminder that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the pro, and then you also got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the amateur as well. So we do have a drop down, and there you can see as well the overall position as well.
Real quick, Smooly, if you could pull up the positions gained again, and well, never mind. Don't worry about it anymore because I believe Barnes has come into the pits, but he was up. No, he is not. He is 24 positions up from where he started this race.
Yeah, Russell, of course, series organizer. He, as we might have a move here for Odoms, who's been knocking on the door for a while, and Odoms moves up into 6th place overall. What a performance he is having right now. But yeah, Barnes, series organizer, never takes part in qualifying, doesn't want to influence the championship or anything, and then yeah, picks up the pieces. He was off track as well on that one. Still managed to move through, as this is furious racing here. Odom super tight on the inside. He's not going to be able to carry much speed. Flanagan round the outside. Had to get out the thoughts a little bit, I think, there. Now tries to cover it off, but was barely ahead. Pushing the limits are those two drivers, but Flanagan is staying ahead. And I can't help but feel, though, that this battle may be a little bit redundant because they're going to have to come into the pits anyway soon. And that might switch the positions no matter what Flanagan does.
Yeah, absolutely. That looked like a bit of a NASCAR move, Sam. I don't know if you know what NASCAR is over there on that side of the pond, but it's where they're in these super beamed up cars and they turn left a lot. But it looked like they tried to get some of that side draft. He got super close to him down the straightaway and then pulled off going into the corner. I don't know if that's something that these GT3s could actually do. But man, the racing still is extremely close between these two.
This is they're losing each other an insane amount of time.
Yes, they are. And this is what I mentioned with Odoms. You said, yeah, you want to be a part of a battle, but Odoms right now, this is the last thing he wants is to be battling, especially somebody that's not even in his class. But I kind of understand where Odoms is coming from because he doesn't want to lose time to Gooch, who right now is quite a ways back, but still, man, they're just, oh, this is Garton. Gonna try to make a move in a very difficult part of the track, and it looks like he gets it done, again, with no pedals. So that was probably a lot hairier for Garton than it normally would be.
Yeah, that was after contact with Odoms going down the inside. A little bit of contact with Flanagan, pushed him offline, pushed him onto the curb. And taking advantage there was Garton good car control. Will any of them decide to come to the pits? Flanagan looks like he's going to come in, going quite slowly around there. And that was
he's had enough of that
a
battle.
very, yeah, that was a very costly lap there for Flanagan because not only did he lose the position to Odoms and Gartson, but also Van Nylen, Kelly and Puccetti all closed right in. And there's a serious threat that when those guys come into the pits, they may all be ahead of him. So that battle could have dropped him from 6th place overall all the way down to 10th. But he's going to try to limit that damage and come into the pits early.
I just want to mention, I'm looking at this gap now right now, trying to between Gooch and Odoms, and it's gotta be at least 15, 17 maybe-ish seconds. So Odoms, even with that battle with Flanagan, is still allowed quite a bit of time between him and 2nd place.
Yeah, that's not good. Well, look, I can't remember who was leading last week, but someone was leading last week in the amateur category, dominating, and in the overall as well. And you know, I would have put, you know, maybe upwards of £4 on them winning the race. That's how confident I was. And they didn't win the race, and I would have been £8 worse off. So the moral from that story is something could happen to Odoms, but right now it looks very unlikely.
Yeah, it's trying not to commentators curse him. I've gotten pretty good at that for some reason, but no, I think a lot of it has to do with if you're driving around by yourself and you're that far ahead, I think complacency may start to play a factor, even if you don't want it to. You know, you're driving around at night, around Sebring, GT3 cars, and you're just doing it lap after lap after lap, and I think you you could get a little bit complacent and make a mistake that loses you that race. We have
Kelly into
got
the pits.
Kelly in the pits.
So let's see if he is able to stay ahead of Flanagan. He was about a second behind Flanagan the lap previous. I wonder if Kelly's been able to save a bit more fuel. I think he has been in a bit of traffic, so might see that change of position. I'll give it'll be indicative of whether that early pit stop for Flanagan was a good decision. He is in a bit of clear air as Barnes has had a problem, and there seems to be a significant problem here for Russell Barnes. He was off the track for an extended period of time, and there is where he is right now. So that's a shame because he was going to be in that big battle, but not anymore. We might get a replay of that in a moment. As Kelly exiting the pits, is he ahead of Flanagan or is he just behind Flanagan? It's going to be very close. He is just behind. Flanagan leaves space, and that could not be closer. But Flanagan is ahead, and well, that's kind of what we expected. Flanagan just about keeping track position, but he did lose time on that kind of pit stop difference.
You got to think that battle between him and Odoms probably didn't owe him any favors either, but watching this replay with Barnes, he was off track for about 5 seconds, so whatever happened here, loses the back end. Great job holding on to it the best he could, makes no contact with any walls, and just, bit of an ego hit, I think, but no damage to the car itself.
Uh-oh, that's Volkner, gosh. Well, that could have been much worse. I think that was Vegan and Knudsen who moved their way past. Hartung into the pits, by the way. He's the first of our top 4, top 5 even, to come into the pits so far in this race. So that's an interesting tactic from him. We expect the fuel to be able to go probably 2 or 3 more, maybe even longer than that. I think probably 5 more minutes. I think the fuel might be able to go, but he decided to come in early. As we get a replay of what happened here with Volkner. This could have been so much worse. Now, of course, it could be a bad rejoin. He was already in the middle of the track. No, he wasn't in the middle of the track. What the wise thing here would have been to reverse, not do what he did.
Yeah, that's I think at some point.
Oh wow, that was P2 as well. That was Gregstad.
Yeah, that could have been again way worse. At some point, if you're Volkner, I mean, if I'm in Volkner's shoes, but again, this is why I'm not out there, and this is why I'm here with you, but I get pretty nervous if I see headlights coming at me at the rate of speed that they come around that final corner, Sunset Bend. I would probably just be trying to get out of the way the best way I could, and sometimes what you think is going to work does not, but everybody was able to stay clean there. Could have been, again, way worse, but it wasn't.
Gartson has had an off, so he has dropped time once again. So he's dropped about 5 seconds. He was ahead of Van Nylen, but he is now behind Van Nylen. So one of a few instances, or two mistakes I think from Gartson so far in this race, and yeah, that has cost him a little bit of time. Barnes into the pits. Top of the drivers who have pitted, of course, Hartung. He has come out into clean air. So if his kind of aim from that early pit stop was to get clear air, seems to have succeeded. Givstead and Dadswell both into the pits now. So the fuel isn't lasting quite as long as I thought. I thought they would be able to go beyond the 40-minute mark, but so far it's only Gannon who's been able to reach that mark, with seemingly everyone else who hasn't already pitted, a lot of them coming in on this time.
It's extremely impressive that Gannon's been out front for most of this race, and it looks like there's quite a bit going on here out in the back of the field, but Gannon out front, no drafting help, no slipstream, and he's one of the few that have yet to come in. So I don't know how he's able to save fuel and keep the distance that he had for most of that first stint. We're about to find out though how much distance he's going to have when he comes in, because Hartung, again, with that slowdown he had, lost quite a bit of time, but he's already back up into second place. So this is going to be pretty interesting. And it looks like Gannon is still actually gaining a little bit of time here on Hartung. It's going back and forth, but 38-second stop, and I'm looking to see here how much time these guys normally have to spin in the pits, and it's looking around. It's going to actually be pretty close here, I believe, between Gannon and Hartung when Gannon has to go in.
Yeah, I think it will be, and that gap between Hartung and Dadswell seemingly growing. 5 seconds now. I think that's because of Dadswell and Grebstad getting held up slightly in when they had that spinner in front of them, whereas Hartung was ahead of all of that and was able to avoid any of the disadvantages of it. So that is why he is ahead there. Because just staying ahead of, Dadswell staying ahead of Grebstad, Scanlan predicts he comes into the pits. That was perfect there on the boots. You get a little bit of leniency. I think there's it's like a range, isn't it? Where you've got to keep your speed under your average speed over the course of about a 10-meter period, I think. He was absolutely perfect there onto the pit limiter. And he gets stopped for the pit box as well. Not the easiest thing to do. But he does do that successfully. No tyres, of course, being taken by these drivers because that would cost you about 25 seconds, and there's no way you would gain more than about 5 seconds by taking tyres in a race like this. So here comes Hartung then, round Sunset Bend, and Gannon exiting the pits. It's going to be close. Gannon was ahead previously. Hartung was chasing him down, and I think this might just be advantage Hartung here, who's got the inside line. Gannon has to go the long way, and Hartung is ahead, but only by 0.7 of a second. So those 2 laps earlier pit stop, I seemingly worked very well for the German.
Yeah, absolutely it has, and Hartung back up there where he started the race here in first place, and now he's going to try to be holding Gannon off, but like we mentioned, that interval that we saw that I expected Hartung to close on Gannon there in the first stint, never really close. So I think Gannon may have a bit in the bag. He was definitely saving fuel as well to try to get to that 40-minute mark, and he is there. He's coming already. I mean, he's already closed the gap by about 0.3 of a second in the course of 5 corners.
Yeah, that was really good hairpin, wasn't it, for him? Just seemed to deplete that gap significantly. In that sort of chasing, it's not really a chasing pack, but maybe that second day pack on the outskirts of the top 10. Odom still ahead of it. Van Nylen in sort of second place in that battle. Then it's Puccetti, Gartson after that mistake in 9th, and Barnes after his mistake in 10th, still ahead of Ocasio though. Kelly seemingly dropping back from all that. I can't remember Kelly having an issue, but I think he was up in the top 10. Earlier on was Kelly, so maybe having a poor pit stop. He's down in 12th place, and of course Flanagan after kind of his big battle with Odom's now very far away himself. So Kelly and Flanagan seem to have lost a lot of time in that pit stop sequence.
Yeah, and again, you wonder how much that had to do with that battle. Unfortunate for those two. I know they were battling a different class car there, but I don't think Odoms was doing anything wrong because Odoms has a race to go in his class. So just a bit of a series of unfortunate events there. And watching this battle up here between Hartung and Gannon at the moment, I don't really know what's going to happen here, but what I'm seeing right now is Gannon has been able to close that gap to about 0.4 of a second, and almost got around him there going into Sunset Bend on turn 17, probably just trying to size him up a little bit.
Here's a move from Gartson on Puccetti. And he's passed. I think that might be the second time he's overtaken Puccetti potentially. Well,
could have been a maybe. Yeah, he's now in P8. Could have been maybe a bit of a pit stop kind of shake around. Looking here, I don't see anything that has happened to either one of those drivers. So, yeah, but nonetheless, Garton is off and away. Has already pulled a little bit of time there on Puccetti, and going to try to chase down the next one, but that's Nyland, who's about 0.3 of a second up the road. So, or not 0.3, sorry, 3.7 seconds up the road. So it's going to be quite a bit of a grind to get to him with about 15 minutes left.
Shout out to Azatec for sponsoring this series. By the way, you would have seen their logo in the top right of the screen for most of this broadcast. Aztec providing sim racing equipment, and well, you can check out Invicta, the hydraulic sim racing pedals from Aztec Sim Sports. And apparently, you reviewers all agree these pedals feel like the pedals of a real race car.
I hate to.
You can.
I apologize. I hate to cut you off, but it looks like Nieves and Coco got into a bit of an incident here. Looks like both of them crashed at the same time, and they have lost quite a few positions. And this is Okaranza, who's also around. Sorry, Sam. I just saw that on the.
Okaranza.
Ah, I see what you did there. He didn't find speed.
Oh, really good commentary. Really good commentary. We're going defensive here between
Yes, we are.
Hartung and Gannon. And Tung gonna be slow on the exit, is he? Kind of decent amount of speed, might pick up a 1x there, but Gannon has got the better exit. He'll be on the outside for the right-hander. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything round here, because surely Hartung's just going to force him out onto the grass, and well, he carried enough speed on the corner entry anyway to hold on, but Gannon is looking faster, and Dadswell is really catching up. Only 2.1 seconds. I don't know what's going on with Hartung right now. Maybe he took less fuel and he's having to fuel save right now, but despite being quick in the first stint, they've lost about 3 seconds to Dadswell and Grebstad since the pit stop, so really interesting that the four are now closing in on one another.
Yeah, they're battling pretty hard too up here right now, so I think Dadswell's just kind of watching this and egging them on at this point. I think this is not what Hartung and Gannon want to be doing, and I'm sure they're watching that relative, as are we, and seeing that gap every time they start to get side by side and Hartung has to go defensive. That compromises their lines, both of their lines, through whatever corner they're in when that happens, and they lose about 4 to 5 tenths of a second just in one corner. So this is definitely not what they want to see, but you've also got Grebstad back there in fourth, who's not that far off of Dadswell.
And look at that for Grebstad. He was fastest of all of them on that last lap, gained by a second on those top two. I will quickly complete that Aztec pedals information, by the way.
Apologies.
Of course, Invicta is the name of the pedals, hydraulic sim racing pedals from Aztec Sim Sports. And yeah, do check them out. Go to aztec.com/simsports, and if you want to see the videos, go /reviews after that as well. And also, there is a bit of a promotional video, and we showed that right before the broadcast. You may just want to rewind that. Aztec may have their own YouTube channel to be fair, which you might be able to see that on as well, and we might share it as well just after the race as well. But big thanks to Aztec, and do make sure to check out aztec.com for more details of their products. Flanagan, Kelly and Gooch, they're all going off the track at the moment. What is going on with them? There is Kelly. Oh no! Oh well, that is
goodness.
I mean, unless we've had suddenly a Garton incident where his pedals have stopped working, that seemed quite blatant. That one.
I just witnessed a murder.
And yeah.
Holy cow! I have a feeling there's going to be some steward review on that. It looks like Flanagan's already in the grass. They're both in the grass. Didn't quite know what happened. Flanagan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a racing incident there. I mean, at least from my perspective, and so it seems like the reaction is uncalled for.
I mean,
and,
he
didn't even
just
have damage.
that unbelievable, and he takes out. Who is that? The 333 of. Who would it be in that 333 car? I apologize. I don't know all these car numbers because I'm not really that was Gooch as well. Got taken out in that. So, man, that's unfortunate. Don't really like to see anything like that. It's just the racing has been extremely good all night, and to see what just went down there, I'm not trying to get myself in trouble here, but it's unfortunate for all the drivers involved in that.
Gooch continuing, and had damage earlier on the car. I think he's probably got some damage on the car now again, but he has got 1.8 seconds to the car behind. Dadswell and Grevstad getting very close. Grevstad probably feels like he could win this race. If you consider Grevstad's had 2 slowdowns, I know Hardtongue had 1 slowdown, but Gannon's had none. I mean, he could really be leading right now, but here he comes then for third position. If he's going to win this race, he's got to get past now, and he is ahead. So he's up into 3rd place now. The effective championship leader, remember he was 3rd place last time out, but with the Fletcher individuals not here today, real opportunity for him to make a lead in the championship. So he's up into 3rd place, now needs to chase after the top 2. And I think Dadswell wasn't fighting that one too much. I wonder if he's thinking, let's work together here and yeah, try to fight for the win rather than fight for the...
There's 2 things I want to mention here. Number one, if you're watching this interval between Gannon and Grevstad, it was below 2 seconds, and Gannon and Hardtongue have now stopped fighting, and while Grevstad and Dadswell have started fighting, and you can see that gap is all of a sudden inflated back to 2.5 seconds. So the fighting here is not what you want to do, but if you're 10 minutes left in the race, you've got to start making some moves here and see if you can get something done. And then the other thing, real quick, Callum Pudicombe sent a message in the YouTube chat, said netcode killed him there on lap 1. So I think Pudicombe saw what we did with all that carnage there on 1. 15 minutes of optionals on lap 1. Sad times, he said. So it's unfortunate for Callum, and you know, he got caught up in that. But like he said, he'll be back in 2 weeks, and put your head down and get it there. But this battle up here is heating up for 3rd as well as for 1st. Gannon's now 0.2 of a second off of Hardtongue again.
Yeah, Grevstad's driven quite a poor lap here, actually. He had a very bad turn 2, missed the apex, and that gap is just extending. They also weren't helped out by the back marker either, but they are going to need a lot of fighting here for Hardtongue and Gannon if they're going to bring themselves back into play.
Don't
Here
look now, but
Gannon.
there may be a battle forming here. I think Gannon may have sized him up enough. He's like, okay, it's time. I mean, he is on him right now, and he's about to come to a section of the track where passing will be definitely doable. It looks like he may be coming through the Maw here and then down the Almond straight into Sunset Corner, which is where you're going to be able to get this done if he wants to.
Yeah, and probably the hairpin as well, the other opportunity. Maybe turn 1 as well, to be fair, but most of the overtakes have been into Sunset and the hairpin so far tonight, but he's certainly not close enough this time, and that draft will help him to catch up a bit. Visibly that gap coming down ever so slightly, but it's not close enough either for a big dive into the second parts of Sunset. Ben taking very similar lines, identifying the least bumpy routes there, and Gannon gets in closer again, down to 0.2 of a second, and you can go for a dive here, super wide turn in into turn 1 here at Sebring, and he is going to go for it. Down the inside he goes. Can he make this one stick as well? Hardtongue is onto the grass. Can he keep control of the car? Is he going to spin into his rival? No, he does keep control. And it's his Gannon who moves back up into the lead. He lost the lead during the pit stops, but he's retaken it now, and this could well be a race win here at round 2 of the championship.
Yeah, that's I was about to mention that turn 1. We've seen quite a few incidents there in turn 1, and one of them ended in tragedy for some of the drivers. But yeah, that is not probably ideal place to make a move, but Gannon made it stick, and I know Hardtongue's probably kind of kicking himself but there's really not much he could have done. That was just an absolute massive overtake by Gannon to get that done into 1.
Yeah, it's really tricky to defend into turn 1 because it's just so wide. You can't, it's not like the hairpin where you can cover off the inside all the way to the line. If you're covering off all the way to the line, then you're just going to be done around the outside because you'll be so tight into the corner. Let's see if he's got any response, but he's dropped away so far as Hardtongue on this lap. Grevstad, I'm sure, would have been willing these guys to fight a bit harder than what they did. He was able to catch up by about a second, but not nearly enough to get himself into play. And he'll need Hardtongue to find a second wind in order to close the gap much more, as we see Puccetti versus Garton. This is Puccetti actually getting back past Garton. We saw these two change position about quarts of an hour ago, but they've changed back again. The Lamborghini ahead of the Porsche.
Got Barnes right there trying to join the battle as well. So I mentioned here at the beginning of the race, and you kind of disagree with me that you don't want to be. You like the battles, right? Like this is the position that you'd want to be in. Garton, I have to mention this one more time, and I promise you I'm done, is not using pedals. I don't think this is where Garton wants to be at this point, battling, no pun intended, down a couple legs.
So what was the pun there?
He's down a leg. He doesn't have a leg up in the competition because he's not using them.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said lake there, but no, the leg. No, that's good. That's a good quality. Quality commentary. This is what the viewers want to hear. This is what they come here for.
I'm going to get fired. I'm never going to be able to come back.
Barnes is surely close enough for a move here, and he moves past. And
into one again
is the Porsche as they're still alongside. And Garton has held on. How has he managed to do that? They're still alongside. This is not where you want to be fighting. Narrows up significantly, and eventually Barnes is ahead. Garton will inevitably go for a move into the hairpin, and we'll see how much brake control he's got heading around this part of the circuit. Covers all the way off to the inside. Audi versus Porsche. But Barnes
just
nailing that
on
one,
that,
and the 35 is up tonight.
Yeah, I apologize, but those brakes on Garton's car were just on fire getting into that hairpin. I tried to get it done around the outside, wasn't able to get it, and Barnes has, I think, we can say successfully completed that pass now at the moment. This is Ocasio in the pits again, and that's Kaleha, who has had a bit of an off and doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon. Got tires spinning all over the place.
Yeah, Casio there was in P2 out of the AMS, but I think under fueling and requiring an extra pit stop. He was stationed for 6 seconds there in the pit stop, and I think he also missed the pit box as well, which would have lost him even more time as well. Kahea, he is with Peck, so Kahea after that mistake, of course. And the gold drivers, ever seen Kahea win the AM series in the GT trophy, ARL GT trophy in the past. So he's a very good driver, is Kahea, but that mistake was not his best moment. He's recovering from it though, because wide goes Peck and the Porsche driver up to 19th place overall.
Yeah, I think Peck just trying to get to the end of the race at this point, not trying to battle anybody, you know, kind of back there, and I don't want to call it no man's land, but still doing an okay job. Back 20th place overall, but looks like 7th place in class. So just getting to the end of the race here. It's probably been a bit of a long race for him, but still out there on track and still trying to grind away.
Yeah, as Reagan is being caught by Knudsen. Yeah, that's an interesting profile picture there for Knudsen. I'm not sure. Do you know what that is?
Those look like toes. Now,
oh, they are, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, but I wish Knudsen would be finishing on a podium here so we could get a bit of an interview with him to ask him why he's got a picture of mirrored toes as his profile picture. I would assume there's probably a reasoning behind that, but right now back there, 24th place overall, and trying to make a move here on Reagan for 23rd.
Very pleased that we moved away from that. I was getting quite engrossed.
I see what you did there.
It wasn't even deliberate either, but I thought midway through saying that, yeah, it's quite good, isn't it? Absolutely nailed that one.
Man, this is apologies to the viewers listening to our dad jokes, but no, this is right now. It looks like the gap up here at the top is kind of falling away. The interval between first, second, and third about the same, but Dadwell is still on the back of Grebstad for 4th position. And look at this, Garton and Puccetti have changed positions once more.
Yeah, Barnes getting ahead of the pair of them recently, and Chelsea trying to have the last laugh as they move on to the last lap of the race. Will just miss out on an extra lap. I say just miss out. We'll be quite far short of an extra lap. And well, jumping back there is the Italian. I don't think he's going to have time, and that would be a good recovery for Carson, who's left himself a lot to do in the remaining rounds of the championship. Should have won at Imola. He was about 10 seconds clear before making a few mistakes. He maybe would have had the pace to win, who knows, obviously, because he's once again not been using pedals in this race when he normally does. And so we'll wait to see if he can come back later on in the championship. He's going to have a lot of points to catch up to this man. Hakon Grebstad is going to be championship leader after tonight. He's being caught right at the end by Daswell. It's still the good pace by Grebstad, catching up. Remember, those guys were 5 seconds behind the top two, and maybe if we had an extra 10 minutes in this race, maybe we could see a proper four-way battle for the win. But instead, it has been a duel out in the lead. It is a duel that looks like Patrick Gannon is going to come out on top of. He lost the lead during the pit stops. He was able to regain it, and round 2 of the Finding Speed GT3 League goes to Patrick Gannon for RPM Racing, ahead of Hartung, who starts on pole but finishes runner-up. Grebstad with those couple of slowdowns finishing in 3rd, and Dadswell in a close fourth. Huge gap back to Adkinsons, who is not too far ahead of Odoms in the end, about 6 seconds between the two of them. But Robert Odoms have absolutely dominated this amateur category. Going to be a brilliant result for the British driver, which will bring himself into championship contention. There he is across the line. Congratulations to the XZ Racing driver on that result, with Nyland, Barnes, Garton, Puccetti and Morgan rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, that may have been the most boring race for Odoms ever, but you know, we'll try to get him pulled in here, see what his thoughts are on it compared to yours, Sam. But riding on board here with Kelly right now, 12th in class. Just looks like this actually may be a battle for a position. It is. No, it is not. I apologize. This is Brett Crouch there in 4th in position or 4th in class. Both going to be coming across the line here. So we got Kelly, Crouch, Gray right behind him, coming 5th in the AMs, and then Ocasio, I believe, maybe coming right behind them somewhere.
Yeah, Casio with that extra pit stop really hurting him. This occasion, Carlson, I believe brother of Rickard Carlson, albeit I imagine Carlson is a super common name in the nation of Sweden. Or this could be a quick look run. Can he get Knudsen, or he just had to lift out of the throttle slightly? If it weren't for that, I think he may have gotten. But instead, he's going to be a few hundredths of a second short. Knudsen in 11th in the sills. They weren't in the same class, but I'm sure Carlson would have loved to get past as he... Oh, that's the needle. And that could have been a nasty impact post-race, which can be costly because I think instants sometimes count post-race. So you don't want to pick up a 4x in that scenario. Would be very ugly. As we have the results, I think, about ready for round 2 here at Sebring. And it's all blank for me at the moment, but they will come up. There they are. Gannon, half a second ahead of Hartung. Grebstad finishing in 3rd place and Daswell in 4th. Really good battle between those top 4. Hopefully we see more of that later on in the season. Also, all 4 from different teams as well. Adjinsons was, in the end, having a very lonely race. He finished 5th, half a minute off the lead. I think he probably had a problem in that second stint there, Adjinsons, because he seemed a lot faster than that in the first half of the race. There was Odoms, who was comfortably top of the silver drivers. Van Nyland was finished in 7th place. Barnes from the back to 8th. Great result there from the series organiser. Callum Gartson was in 9th. There was Puccetti, Morgan, Bree. Kocho ended up 2nd place out of the AMS. Gooch was 3rd place out of the AMS despite having sort of being collateral in a missile attack. Right there was Gooch. Then Kelly was in 15th place overall. Not a good time for Kelly in that second half of the race. He was doing well in the first half, but fell away second half. Then it was Brack Crouch, Carl Gray, Jonathan Ocasio with that late pit stop, Juan Cajea, Alex Peck, Bastian Blusseau, Glenn Hopkins, Phil Reagan, Matt Knudsen, Christopher Carlson, Christian Volkner, who should be way further up. But I mean, clearly had problems because he's one of the quickest drivers in the Ans. Volkner be looking to do better in a fortnight's time. Then it was the Jazz who were one lap down. Mad Sasia, Nikola Lavagna, Ludovic Zayakin, Oliver Marin, Dan Coranza, and Mateus Soto. And then 2 laps down was Graham Lynch, and pretty much the retirees were David Flanagan, who was up in 6th place at one point, Alan Mystique, Dennis Kartzer, Igor Bembik, Callum Pudicom, got taken out on lap 1, and Dan Maury in 39th place.
It's unfortunate for Flanagan. I don't think he would have finished 12 laps down, but we did mention the missile attack that happened.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that was
Flanagan.
wasn't it?
That was part of that.
We're just going to show you a quick advert for Azatec just before we go to the interviews. So we'll be back in just a moment. And thanks once again to Azatec for sponsoring this series. Those were the Invicta pedals, the hydraulic sim racing pedals from Azatec Sim Sports, and very good reviews from people out there saying that the pedals are just like ones from a real race car. And of course, do check them out at azatec.com/simsports. We are just waiting for some interviews with drivers. We love having chats with drivers, and everyone is welcome to have a chat, whether they want a race or whether they retired on lap 1. There's always things to be learnt, but unfortunately at the moment, we do not have any interviews with drivers. But
that is unfortunate, because I would really love to talk with some of these drivers. I cannot remember the driver that had the picture of toes on his profile picture, but unfortunate that we can't get any, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the toes is the thing on everyone's minds, I think, isn't it? And I think that's really the main takeaway we can take from this race. It was the highlight for me,
There
as
it is.
we've got it now, so there is Matt Knudsen with toes.
Speaking of,
It makes me feel quite uncomfortable.
I mean, it is definitely an interesting profile picture. I don't think he used enough of his big toe to be able to get through that incident at the beginning of the race. But while we're talking about it, I just kind of wanted to mention that the racing that I saw tonight, just in general, was actually pretty good. Saw a bit of everything, Sam, in this race. I mean, we saw great racing up front, great racing in the mid-pack as well, and saw a bit of retaliation as well, which is unfortunate. I don't think you ever want to see that. But, man, overall, that battle for the top 3 in that pro class was pretty impressive. Between Hartung and Gannon, they were able to keep it clean and race clean, and, man, Gannon proved me wrong. I thought Hartung was definitely going to be the guy to beat tonight, but Gannon was able to get it done. And we actually do have Russell Barnes here in the interview waiting room. But no, I think overall for me, it was an awesome race to broadcast and great to be a part of.
Absolutely. So we will bring up Russell Barnes now for an interview. Congratulations there, Russell. That was remarkably good. Started from the back. You finished in P8. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a good race. It was tricky conditions. It was a lot hotter than it should have been. I think it caught a good number of drivers out. Certainly caught me out at the start of the race. But yeah, I think the action up front was pretty good, and I was trying to get there, but no chance.
Yeah, there was a lot to do, yeah, you still managed to recover a lot. You seem to have a good battle kind of on the outside of the top 10 in those closing stages. I mean, beating Callum Mead Guts and pedals or no pedals is still very impressive, and also Puchetti as well in those closing stages. What of all the battles you had out there, because you had a lot of them, what was kind of the highlight for you?
Yeah, that last battle at the end was pretty epic, actually. Callum was really fighting, and it was tight stuff, so I managed to inch closer and sort of sneak through. It wasn't easy, but it was, damn, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
39 drivers entering this event, and I think we had even more back at Imola as well. You must be very pleased how the reception has been for this season 4 of the championship, because this series just seems to be getting better and better.
Yeah, absolutely chuffed to bits. Thanks to everyone for taking part and also for watching too. Season 5, big plans there. News in a month or so. I'm hoping we're going to have enough drivers to be able to have multiple splits. So I think it's going to be amazing if we can do that.
Awesome. And I don't know if you just wanted to explain as well kind of the stuff available from Finding Speed. I can say it, but I'm sure you'd be able to put it much better yourself.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. So I run the Finding Speed YouTube channel and Discord community. I do track guides, community events, leagues, stuff like that. Started doing a lot more broadcast community events. There's one happening tomorrow night, so watch that live. Sebring Sunday, same time tomorrow night. We are back at Sebring, but it is set up for the 24-hour, so it will start at the start time for the 24-hour. It's got the same balance of power. The bot's going to be in, so it's the perfect sort of practice ground if your team or your drivers are doing the 24 2-hour sprint. Come and test out those new tires. And also you can sign up now for the Green Hell. Just head over to findingspeed.com/race. We've got the Nürburgring 24-hour warm-up race in planning right now. So thank you.
Awesome, no problems, and thanks for having a chat with us as well, Russell. And yeah, best of luck that you can make up just as many places in a couple of weeks' time.
Cheers, thanks guys, thanks for your hard work. Thank you.
Russell Barnes there, your highest gainer tonight, along with, of course, being the series organizer for this league, and a very good job that he's been doing over the past 18 months or so since Finding Speed sort of started. I think I remember doing the first series. Yeah, I remember doing the first series. I was very stressed about some exams, and yeah, that was about 18 months ago. So good. So bad times, but good memories for this series. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone else to have a chat with, Adam, but still, we can look forward to the next round of the championship. I should have asked, to be fair, Russell just then, but I believe the next round of the championship is following the GT Sprint Series, which will mean that we will be visiting Daytona. And if we are visiting Daytona, well, what a lot of fun that's going to be, because that's sort of a bit of a neutralizing circuit because of the fact that it's all straights. You can be a bit slower, but stay in the draft.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Daytona is always a fun track to race. I think one of my favorite here on the circuit. Not the oval, even though I'm an American, but definitely the road course is quite a bit of fun. Like you mentioned, no matter how good somebody is through that infield section of the track, you get out. I mean, I believe you come out of turn 3 and 4, or turn maybe 1 and 2 on the oval, and you drive it all the way down, and then the chicane, and then you come through 3 and 4 as well, and that is just a very, very high speed to able to keep all the cars close together, and the overtakes it into one. Oh, and it sounds like we do have time for an interview. We've got Patrick Gannon here.
Yes, I'll pass them over to you if that's all right, Adam.
Absolutely. Patrick, welcome in. Thank you for joining the interview booth. Man, that race between you and Max Hartung, the whole race was pretty impressive, man. And you got the last laugh, but back and forth there, pit strategy seemed to come in play. Kind of walk me through it.
Yeah, I was really trying to get to 20 laps for the first stint. So I was doing a whole bunch of fuel saving, and then I overfueled by a little bit, and that's why he caught me out. But other than that, I was able to just push right to the end and actually get him into turn 1.
So the fact that you were fuel saving for that first stint, we were talking about it on the stream, you were still able to maintain about a 0.7 of a second gap or so on Hartung. Were you, I mean, with no draft help, being out there in front, were you, I mean, how are you able to do that?
Just lifting into the heavy braking zones. That's the biggest thing. But we've been working on a setup for the 12-hour, and it's pretty slippy in a straight line. So definitely what helped here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you know, coming out, of course, you mentioned overfueling just a little bit into the pits that allowed Hartung to get the pass on you. Did you think you're going to be able to? I mean, obviously the overtake into one for the lead in the first place was pretty impressive, but did you think you were going to be able to get back past Hartung again after you saw him driving by you?
I knew I had the pace. I was able to keep him while I was fuel saving, and I knew I had more in the car, so I had a feeling I would either get up to the back of him and have the last couple laps to go at him, but I got lucky on my exit of Sunset. I was really close to him and decided to send it.
Yeah, that was great racing up here that we were able to watch between you two. Kept it pretty clean, actually very clean, especially some of the overtakes that happened between you two. Definitely took the breath away from me, and I'm sure for you guys as well, but able to get through it and finish up there in first place. Patrick, anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out?
I just want to shout out my team, I guess. That we've all been working really hard to try and put together a really good car, so that's definitely what helped here. So I guess just my team.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, thank you very much for putting on a show for us tonight, and hope to see you here again in a couple weeks.
Hopefully.
That was Patrick Gannon, the first place finisher there in the pro class. Again, that battle between him and Hartung for basically the whole race was extremely impressive, but Patrick got the last laugh there, Sam.
Yeah, he sure did. Really good work there from Gannon, who's one of the favourites for the rest of the season, I am sure. So that is pretty much it for us tonight. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, do make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to Finding Speed if you're watching it on that YouTube channel, and certainly also subscribe to Apex Racing TV as well. Got loads more action. Then we've got the Formula 3.5 currently going on. They'll be to the end of that race now, might even be over already. I'll be commentating on the Spec Racer 4. I think it might be race 1 of the season actually tomorrow. That's always really good fun. I think 45 minutes races and lots of step streaming. No one can ever pull away from one another. It should be really good fun. And on Monday we've got the Mazdas on we've got lots of other racing basically going on. Also NASCAR. Lots of racing in the American time zone, lots of racing in the European time zones as well. So subscribe to the channel, click on the notification button, and then you know whenever we go live with a broadcast. And also, of course, check out our social media pages as well on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Adam Thompson, and from Sam Kume, we are going to say goodbye, and we will see you back in 2 weeks' time for round 3 of the championship. See you then.